Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A, formerly 5B, and it is so nice outside right now. I kind of just want to spend the day here, and if I didn't have to go to work, I probably would. We're probably around mid-70s right now. That would be my guess. I haven't actually looked at the temperature at all this morning, but that's what it feels like to me. I've got a few things to show you in the garden, but I think next week is when you are going to see the biggest change, and I'm kind of excited about it. So why don't we start with the giant in the room? As you can see, the loofah plant has decided to eat the stairs. I have been doing my hardest to keep it trained just to the one side, but we have successfully created a green wall with the loofah. And look, I just saw this for the first time. We actually have a loofah. And if we just get one loofah, I will be thrilled. That's the only one that I have noticed so far. But we do still have the sweet potatoes that almost look like the loofah, but no, those are sweet potatoes. I could probably dig those up and start using those if my timing is correct. But the loofah has pretty much strangled out all of those pots. I'm trying to keep the zucchini, which these are the only zucchinis left. I want at least one zucchini this year. I'm trying to keep these ones from getting smothered. I'm not 100% sure this tomato plant, it's a volunteer. Probably some kind of bumblebee tomato. I don't know if I'll get any tomatoes from it because, like I said, the loofah is taking over this trellis. But these peppers are also doing pretty well. I do need to come in and I need to thin out the pine berries. They've gone insane, and at this point these need to be cut back the most because they're starting to come up and over, and I don't want them over here. I want them to stay over in this area because I want strawberries underneath that peach tree. But otherwise, we've got the basil that I always point out is getting big and fluffy. And then I still haven't pulled the grass from that. I keep forgetting about it. But we've got those tomato plants over there that are hanging on. And the loofah that is starting to take over this tomato plant. But the exciting part is, this is spinach right here, and it's managing to hang on. So I might actually get a few leaves of spinach. I do need to come through and take the pine berries out of this bed though. But that's this side, except for, I suppose I could show you, I've got a lot of strawberries that I need to come through and get. But we've got the okra plant. It's doing okay, and it looks like this blueberry plant's struggling a little bit. But the other two are doing pretty good. But I'll take you back to the main area. So the first thing I can point out is that the corn is not only tasseling, but we are starting to get ears as well. I mean, I'm hoping they get pollinated so they become actual cobs. But that's exciting. Got the possibility of corn coming. Cowpeas are still existing. I need to lean them so that they go towards the trellis. Right now they're just hanging out by themselves. Otherwise, most of my potted tomatoes aren't looking too good. I should probably come through and just yank them. We are starting to get ground cherries, which is phenomenal. And I have harvested a few things of okra from these two plants. Still don't know what that is. And yes, it is being a little decimated by the squash bugs, but like I said, I highly doubt we're gonna eat anything off of this plant, so squash bugs can have that one, because unfortunately, let me take you over to the bed. They've decided to take out the only squash that I was actually excited about. Yeah, this one was doing so well until it wasn't. I mean, parts of the vine are still looking okay, but I might just yank it, which is probably what was gonna happen anyways, because with the fact that coming this Monday, we're gonna start pulling out the sod, some of this was gonna be in the way. The only heartache I have about this is, of course, I've never tried the Ecote green squash before. Really wanted to. And I'm afraid that if I pull this out, my zucchinis might be the next thing that gets attacked by the squash bugs. But we'll see. It is vining on this side too. But like I said, I think I'm just gonna make the decision to yank the whole thing. Which happens. We are getting sunflowers. Yay. And I kind of bypassed the chickpeas. We got a couple more pods, but the plants aren't looking great. And I probably say this about every tour or so. I don't know if it's too much water or not enough water. So there's that. I do have some peppers I need to come through and pick. Which is good. I really love these variegated pepper plants. They're gorgeous. And I definitely will not plant nearly as densely with marigolds as I did this year. I know this looks like a mess, but like I said, I've been trying to get things up off the ground so that the beds can be worked around to get the sod up. And this is what the potatoes ended up looking like. Honestly, really, I should just come through and just pull it all up, but I do not have the energy to deal with that right now. And I'm learning to be kind to myself. This kind of period of life I'm in right now is just take things as you can handle them. And right now I cannot handle dealing with that much potatoes or digging for all of those potatoes. So I'm not, and it's gonna be okay. You can actually see the ground over here, which is kind of exciting. Probably cut about half the plant back. And I guess it's technically 4 plants, but cut a lot of tomato back yesterday to start getting ready, like I said, for work to start happening. I've been trying to tie up what I can, but we've got some room to work around the beds. And I might pull the tomato plants a little earlier this year. But with these new beds, it's been a little bit of a learning curve. And I'm learning. This right here, this is kind of hilarious. I need to decide what to do with the jelly melons. I'm probably gonna cut it back harshly, but it'll probably bounce back like nobody's business because this thing is insane. So that's probably my plan for tomorrow or Sunday, is to get this trimmed back. We do have some jelly melon fruit that I am waiting for it to ripen. Sorry, stumbling on my words a little bit. Still a little early in the morning and I haven't had caffeine. But it was just so nice out here. I wanted to get out here. This is probably the biggest change, is being able to get through this path right here. I probably could have done better work with that back there, but it's leaning so much from the windstorm, it's hard to get it back up in the bed. So that's probably as good as I'm gonna get it over there. But here, as soon as I cut back those jelly melons, this will be a nice path again. We do have some big tomatoes that are waiting to, waiting to ripen. Some of that dead looking stuff is because of how it was hanging on the ground and I finally got it propped up. Unfortunately, this is one of the plants that got topped with the windstorm we got about a week and a half ago. And then we've got over here, now I've got the carrots hanging over, but I think it'll be okay. They can kind of just brush some of that out of the way, or I might just come through and start cutting tops this weekend. I don't know, I haven't made a decision. But honestly, this bed needs a lot of TLC. I should probably come through and just harvest all the beans and pull the bean plants. Most of these dwarf tomatoes don't look all too good. Of course, I've got my second section of beans and then the additional potatoes that I haven't dealt with but need to. But I do have some pepper plants in here, and I think once I get like the beans and the potatoes out, those pepper plants will really start thriving. So when I have the energy and the mental fortitude to do that, I probably will, because like I said, this ain't looking good right now. Then we have the last of the beds, which looks like a wild mess. Parts of it a little better than others, but it's still trying to produce, so I'm letting it. Got some marigolds starting to peek through the basil there. So yeah, that's kind of where the garden's at right now. I think both she and I are a little worse for the wear, but we're both still going and just doing what we can. As I was alluding to, we are going to be having some workers come out next Monday and pull up the sod for me, and then we will be putting some pathways and mulching down around the beds. I'm excited for that to be cleaned up because there are some spots right now, especially around those beds, that are extremely dangerous, especially since these beds are concrete. I have run into them many of times and have had to bandage my calves and whatnot because I've biffed it hard and it hasn't ended well. So I'm looking forward to the ground being more level, there not being holes between the ground and the beds, and getting all of that figured out. I'm excited to see that, and you, of course, will probably be getting short updates of the progress of that. I'm thinking it might take a day or so, so it's not going to be a huge process, probably at most 3 days. I'm gonna say that and it ends up taking 2 weeks because weather. But right now I am planning on 1 to 3 days in my brain. Whether or not that's how everything goes down, I don't know. I will keep you updated, probably with a couple of shorts, at least one a day as they're working, both over here, and then I'll probably do some reels on Instagram. So if you want to go follow me on Instagram and Threads, I'll be doing updates over there as well. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe so you can see all the things that change in this garden. I do try to do weekly updates on how the garden is going, how it's changing, and all of that kind of stuff. So feel free to join me in this endeavor of my garden. It's just something that gives me a little bit of peace. So feel free to join me anywhere, everywhere, all the wheres. I do hope that you have a wonderful day. I'm just feeling the need to give out the good vibes right now, I guess. So with that being said, I do hope I will see you again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.